Right, so I'm up at Marine Drive. I'm parked on Marine Drive. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good today. I don't know what I'm going to do with this video, whether I'll put it out on YouTube or Facebook or wherever I'm going to put it. So last night, 18 months ago I started writing I wrote a document which was going to be a post on Reddit talking about limerence and talking about how it feels and about the misinterpretation people have of limerence and that, and a lot of people who don't experience it, how it can affect your life. I started rewriting it last night. I mean, because was it 18 months ago I fell into it again. But rather than being about limerence in general, I started talking about myself and how I've been feeling over the last 18 months. So maybe we should just read this. So, I was getting upset writing this last night. I was getting quite upset. So, I've just titled this document Limerence Introduction Video, but I ended up just talking about myself and how I feel. Because this week has been affecting me. It's affected me quite bad, and it's been affecting me tonight. It's affecting me. Not everyone will understand. 18 months ago, I started developing a deep crush on someone again. Then on the 5th of October 2023, I drew a picture of her. Pausing as I drew, I felt a feeling in my heart, a feeling I recognised from years before. I had become limerent. My thoughts and constant thinking about her had started affecting my life. When being in limerence, everything else in my life becomes less important. Thoughts about my LO dominate everything else. Thoughts dominate everything else. LO being limerent object. I hate that term. It is used by psychiatrists. She is not an object. She is perfection. The effects are constant thoughts about them. Before every task I do, I will involuntarily assess whether they affect her. While they don't physically, living in another country, to me they might spiritually. Logically, these thoughts are unreasonable, but they happen to those of us who fall into limerence. I get thoughts like, if I don't do a task up to a standard or within a time, then I will never get to meet her, or worse things can happen. It can be extremely distressing. I feel I need to see at least one image of her, a reminder that she exists regularly. If I didn't, or I was unable to see just an image of her for a time, sometimes just a few hours, then my mind will overthink, usually negatively. I couldn't sleep, and it would make me physically sick. I would be unable to work or do anything. Like extreme depression, where you cannot lift yourself up to do anything. I feel sustained by a constant craving, an addiction filled by looking at a picture of her for a few fulfilled by looking at a picture of her for a few seconds before I can do basic tasks to any competency. It can be really debilitating for those of us who experience it, and a totally alien concept for those who don't. It isn't all negative effects. I've been dieting over the last year, and I've been taking regular exercise and thinking of improving my appearance. I actually lost a noticeable amount of weight, all because of someone I have very little chance to ever meet. Limerence is an intense attachment, an involuntary attachment, and is a result of childhood traumas. It is an emotional attachment, not physical. This time I had a cope plan. Rather than drawing my limerence, I would write a story and try to self-publish my second book, a story where she is the main character. I have been writing since October 23, a way of coping with my feelings. On one occasion, it wasn't long after Lisa Schaefer had talked about Sierra Ferrell. I went to Sierra Ferrell's YouTube channel, and the pinned video was her performing American Dreaming. I played the video and was overcome by emotion. I brought up a picture of my limerence. I broke down. I cried and cried and cried till I could no longer breathe, crying in silence, such an intense emotional reaction, transfixed in a tearful trance over a picture of her and Farrell's voice. At the end of that October, my father had become ill and spent months sedated in intensive care. Then a month later, a close friend died. I made a video, my driving videos, because I do drive videos. I made a video coming back from the funeral in which I talk about my emotions, and I got quite upset. Then a year ago this week, through no fault of my own, I had a big negative change in my life. I had a large part of my life taken away from me, and as a result, I also lost my income. I dropped into severe depression. I cannot give details at this point in time. There was a time when I had everything taken away from me. All I had were my thoughts and memories, thoughts and feelings for Lauren. Those thoughts and feelings were all that pulled me through. She saved my life. This week I've got some tools, and I have picked up pieces of driftwood. I'd like to try and make her a love spoon. It's a Welsh thing. I would like to try it. Do I have a problem? Maybe. But I don't want it to end. I love the feelings in my heart every time I see her picture. I want to hear her stories. I want to hear her dreams. I want to gaze into her beautiful eyes and sit with her watching the sunrise. This was meant to be a video about talking about what is limerence, but I've ended up talking about my limerence. I don't want it to end. The intense feelings in my heart sustain me. Since my life was all but destroyed 1 year ago, limerence is all the hope I have left. This week the depression has overwhelmed me and I have stopped looking after myself again. I feel I cannot live without her. Right. Yeah, well, there was more to this which I didn't edit, which I didn't yeah, about being vulnerable. You shouldn't be vulnerable on. I've talked about in other videos I've done about vulnerability. I can't even recall right now.